Remember, as Senator Cherargei and Senator Wambua said, this is not the audit. This is a follow-up on implementation. What is your view on Annexures 1A? Let's start with 1A.
Thank you, Chair. On 1A, the management has submitted to us payment vouchers and supporting documentations submitted to our office, payment vouchers and their supporting documentations for payables amounting to the 176,378,605. However, we've not done a physical verification at the entity's premises to do additional audit tests on the entity's documentation and the verification of the goods or services that was supplied.
Now, Auditor, we need to be very straight up. You went for the audit, 176 million was not supported by, was not conclusively backed up at the time of audit. What makes you feel like it would be backed up now, if it was not backed up then?
Yes, thank you, Chair. At the time of audit, the supporting documents were not availed to our verification. Presently, they have, the management has presented their supporting documentations. So the only remaining issue for us to adequately satisfy ourselves that they were backed up well is to visit the ground entity's premises and confirm, do additional tests on the documents that have been presented to us.
No, Auditor, we need to deal with this matter so that we set the principle on how we are going to run this meeting. Patrick?
Chairman, what the auditor is saying is that during the audit, these records are not available to the auditor. Now, when we have invited this entity to come before this committee, we are only given 7 days. This is the period within which we have been able to look at these records. The auditor needs to do the audit in the client's premises. That's why they do comprehensive audit tests. What the auditor is saying, he's not able to test these records within his premises because he needs to ask additional questions. He needs to talk to the people who prepared this documentation.
No, but why do you want to audit after the audit? Because now you should be auditing 2025, 2026.
Exactly, Chairman. So what the auditor is saying, he's unable really to confirm whether this documentation, for example, Chair, these are just listing of suppliers. But the auditor needs to look at the primary records and other records documented within the client's premises to be able to confirm whether these payments, payables, is a proper listing.
Senator Wambua?
Chair, you know, I'm hearing the auditors talking to us about documents, these documents. I don't know whether it's my file, but this is 1A, Chair. This is Annex 1A. It's this. This is what it is, right? Unless the other documents. And what I have as Annexure 1A is just a computer printout of, you know, I can't even read what this is, but I see at the end of the day there's 176 million. Is this a justification for, is that supposed to purge that query?
Chairman, what you are saying, if you look at that listing, for example, you'll see an amount that is listed there. You want to ask the client to identify and tell you how did this amount arise. Okay? If it was a supply that was done, you want to look at the records within the entity to see whether goods were being procured, were they delivered.
Allow me on that one.
I think we need to put this question to the governor because the governor is, that's the reason why we needed the governor here. But
yes, Chair, allow me. You know how, Chair, that's why I asked the initial question. You see, what the auditors are telling us is that they have been presented, a document has been presented to them. And now they are supposed to go and ask the entity to provide further documents to justify the printout. Chair, are we not going back to pre-March 31st?
That is my concern. Governor, we need to put it to you. That amount cited is 41% of your total pending bills. The Auditor General, the implication is that 41% of your pending bills is fake because it was not supported. Is that the right position that the Senate should adopt?
Chair, I
let me just state this first, as for the record. When you go to this county, we had over 800 million pending bills. As of now, we've reduced it to about 103, but that's just for the record. But what I have is that there is this listing of all the items that constitutes 176 million. But we also have vouchers with the auditors. The auditor general has all the vouchers. So there is really no need to go to the premises. We can go through the vouchers here and confirm every payment. They're here.
No, Governor, you see, we know your background, you have been in Parliament, and that's not how it works. Parliament does not do the audit. It's the Auditor General to do an audit, and when the common report was that 41% of the pending bills were not supported, then it is for us to make that determination. We can't realistically go through vouchers for 176 million in this particular session. It is not practical. It is not possible. And the question to you as a Chief Executive Officer is, when you see this query, because I don't think it's the first time you're seeing this query, what is the action that you have taken to ensure that this matter is addressed, either administratively or legally? Now, these are the questions we say that the governor must respond, because as a CEO, you must tell us administratively what action have you taken to ensure that there's clarity on the 176, so that the Senate does not say that 41% of pending bills in Samburu is fake.
Yeah, I think I've said it. We have given evidence of all those payments through the vouchers and everything. So that is the much I can do, because if the auditors at the time of the audit did not get those vouchers, now they have them. So I think that is. So
if the auditor was not provided with the vouchers at the time of audit, don't you see a problem there administratively within your organization?
I see a problem administratively. And
is there any administrative action that you have taken?
Yeah, we've had executive meetings, and we've, and now I'm told we have a tracker now that tracks payments.
Yeah, because let's be, Governor, I said I want to have a very, very mature conversation, and I want us to hold it with the right temperament so that we find the solutions. Not everything, not in all these issues, the blame goes to the governor. You have come with a huge delegation here. There are people you are paying a salary every month to ensure that when the auditor comes, records are provided. If they don't provide it, then ultimately you are the one who bears responsibility. But you cannot just baby them. You cannot just sugarcoat things. If 41% of your pending bills cannot be justified, isn't there someone in your organization who maintains custody of those records? And that's a focus we must have, so that we whip everyone to play their role. A lot of officers hide behind the governor because they say, okay, the governor has been in parliament at a deal na wenzake. We are not going to accept that. If someone was supposed to take responsibility for custody of these records, we shall identify them, we shall name them, and the Public Audit Act gives us the power even to recommend that they are unfit to hold public office. That is power that is in statute. So I think that I want us to have that very candid but also painful conversation without glossing over issues, without running away from issues. I think that's the attitude that I wanted us to have. And we are not trying to fix the governor. We are just trying to find who should have been responsible for this. And if they slept on the job, we recommend certain administrative action needs to be done.
Chair.
Okay, let's hear.
Thank you, Chair, for that is, I'm exactly in your position, and I wish you'll be a governor one day. I've been complaining and, to these people that if a document was available at the time of the audit, why didn't you give the auditors? And I've had various reasons. One, a reason that I would like to say here is that, and I want to speak to the auditors, some of my people would say they had given you these documents, and these documents are there. But some of the auditors will come up and say they were not there. What we are having here is issues of compliance and documentation. So, Chair, I have my CC here, and she has something to say about the track.
She's going to submit, she gave them to the auditor, she must provide evidence. Because I believe there's a tracker for everything that is submitted to the auditor.
Chair, before the CC goes, because 62(2) of Public Audit Act is very clear. I think because this is the first time we are looking at an issue of non-submission of documents during the time of audit, why don't you let the legal counsel go through that part so that it will inform us how we move for the rest of the issues on non-submission of documents? Because I think it requires some justification. And so when the CC is responding, she should try and justify, so that for every issue of non-submission of documents, she would start by justification.
So that is the obligation of accounting officers when it comes to provision of records during audit. You have it? Or can you just read it out?
Section 62 of the Public Audit Act, a person shall not, without justification, that is 1B, without justification fail to provide information required under this Act, and C, without justification fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act. Then subsection 2, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both.
So that's the legal basis. That's where we want to test whether an offence has been committed before we go back even to the numbers. Senator Lelegwe, you had a contribution before the CEC.
Yes, Chair.
And the OAG.
Yeah. Chair, I wanted to ask the Governor, when I see Annexure 1A, that is telling us to see on confirmation of these documents that were supplied to the auditor, we just have a schedule, just one-page schedule, which does not show us any voucher, any certificate. But when you see the types of works that constitute this 176 million, one part of it is construction of buildings. Proposed construction of Samburu County Referral Inpatient Block. I don't know how the county executive can fail to provide that document at the time of audit to the auditors. The second part, construction of civil works. I'm just giving one example. Proposed construction of Mara rental market at 3.4 million, construction of Rodungo Boda Boda shed, construction of Mara car wash at 3.9 million. I think all these documents are available with the county government at that time of audit. And I fail to understand why the county executive could not provide these documents at the time of audit. The third part is supply of goods, supply of tires, supply of camels. Unless they did not follow the procurement procedures, that's when they can fail to have the documents as asked by the auditor. But as a committee today, we are not provided with any evidence. The governor is mentioning about the vouchers to the auditor. The auditor can confirm to us whether the vouchers, the payment vouchers are available with them, because in this sitting of Senate today, we are not provided with any document. Chair, note that this is not a small amount. It is 176 million shillings. And the governor said about the pending bills before this current county government. But when you see the schedule of documents provided, there is only one payment that was done on 4th of January 2022. All others were done in 2023 to 2025. Meaning, all these pending bills, the 40% of these pending bills have occurred during the current administration of the county government. This is not a small amount. The governor needs to tell us where this 76 million, because if the documents were not available during the time of audit, how could the county government or the county officials construct these documents to come and place before us today and say we have accounted to that 176 million?
Thank you. Senator Chirarke.
Chair, mine will be three. I want to pick it from where my colleagues left. One, I don't believe, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. The fact that the entity is not aware that under Public Audit Act is an offense for non-provision, then it points to competency and ability of the CCM and the team. So my question would be, would it be, Governor, your people need capacity building? Because I think your CC has served for some time, and this is not the first time that we are doing audit. So you should satisfy this committee that during exit, entry, management, even management letter highlight some of these issues. So I find it strange that your team might not be aware, which I fail to buy, Chair. That will be number one on the issue of entry, exit, and management meeting on the aspect. Number three, I have seen the notes number 32, trade and other payables. Governor, over 94% of pending bills or trade and other payables is under your tenure. It is between 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Which is total of under 1 year. In fact, under 1 year is 321,723,502. Between 1 to 2 years is 63,132,027. And between 2 to 3 years, it's 18,421,047. Of total pending bill in Samburu, 94% was incurred under your tenure. So you should be able to justify us why this huge amount is yet to be settled. And I wish the governor would be noting down so that we don't need to come back. This pending bill are owed to the businessmen and women of Samburu. So therefore, if you don't pay them, it means you are killing their businesses. Of this 431,831,735, that will be my second question. Governor, finally, I have seen in the original certificate of OAG, this issue of statutory deductions is a problem in your county. And when you don't remit these statutory deductions, it is the money that belongs to the workers or to the people or the workers who work within your entity. So why was these statutory deductions not remitted to the SACCOs and other entities for more than 5 years? This is 27,467,566. Because I believe it is not remitted, it is misappropriated because it is something that belongs to the workers' chair. So I would really want to know why the violation of non-payment under the PMF Act of the statutory deductions. Finally, just an observation on 176,378,605. I thought, Governor, issues like contracts are easily available because by the fact that I'm doing a contract in for example, in Samburu, that contract should be available. I wish it is something which is direct. Maybe even delivery notes and other aspects like raising of certificates for payment of money. That one you can say maybe the contractor and what and deliver. But on the issue of signed contracts, I want to believe this is a document that is available with the light department. If it is roads, if it is housing, it is something that should be available. So what is the justification of non-provision to justify this 176,378,605? Chair, I yield back. That would be
Thank you. I think you've asked all the questions relating to this matter. Can we get a response from the governor and his team?
Chair, first, I think we need to be clear. We have the vouchers here that account to 176 million. As to why they were not provided to the auditors at the time of the audit, we have the CUC here. She has an answer as that they provided those documents. And there is something, a tracker or a schedule that shows that they provided. So let us deal with that. If the documents were provided, and the documents are here now to answer Senator Legwe, I'm told those documents are in those files. You can look at every single voucher to account for the 176 million.
No, I must make it clear, Governor, that we are not doing the audit today. The audit is done by the Auditor General. The Auditor General tells us that they've not had time to even scrutinize this. They provide us with an assurance. If they give us the assurance that what is here supports 176, we will not waste time on it. They have not given us that assurance. So it cannot be a matter that we exit that easily. We have read the law, and the law says any person without justification refuses to provide documents. Is there any justification for non-provision of those documents to the Auditor General? Because this cannot be the time when they're being provided. It's not here. CC?
Chair, we actually provided the documentation and we have a register of all the documentation. If you just allow, we can get you the register signed that they received the documents.
Now,
The same documents, we had shared around 2 folders showing the vouchers to amounting to that.
Auditor General?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I hereby confirm that on 2nd of June, that is last week, we received the listing and all the individual payment vouchers and supporting documentations.
Was it submitted on 2nd of June or before the audit closure?
We did before, during the audit, and even on the 2nd, we had the documentation.
No, leave alone the 2nd of June. 2nd of June is completely outside the timelines.
We
are dealing with actions that were expected during the constitutional timelines for audit.
Even before, because we maintain a register when we give documents, they're out and in.
CC, we are soon going to put you under oath.
Okay.
We are soon going to put you under oath. Now, honorable members, this, I think we cannot arrive at a different conclusion that 41% of the debt in Samburu cannot be justified as we speak. And if the auditor, you feel that you need some time to review, it would be quite unprocedural, because ideally, by this time, you should have already reviewed it. What assurance are you giving us on this 41%? Is it justified, or is it fake bills?
Chairman, before the director comes in, please allow me to say that when we receive this documentation in the office, if you look at Annexure 1, for example, the one totaling to 176 million, as an auditor, I will ask myself, where is this annexure coming from? Because one, the document one is not certified, because you know the original is not certified. I do not know it comes from Samburu County. I would expect to be able to test this information if I go to the entity and run my tests, even go to the system and run a schedule of payables and see whether I'll be able to come up with such a record. Those are the tests that even Mheshimiwa was talking about.
Now, members, on the issue of, I will not take the submission of the CC that they submitted those documents, because this is also a body with some constitutional obligations,
yes,
and they subscribe to a code of professional conduct. I don't know whether the CC subscribes to a code of professional conduct. Are you a member of ISPAC?
No, not, Chair.
Yeah, so in these matters, the word of the auditor would be, I think I would take it with greater certainty than your word, because they've got a professional obligation to say the truth and to provide an assurance. So let's not spend too much time on this back and forth of I gave or I didn't give. Let's come to the substantive things, because if people are owed money, they should be known. We might spend so much time on this and forget that there is something to do with SACCOs and statutory contributions that are in this query that affect staff. You know, those ones cannot be fake. Statutory remittances cannot be fake. But these other trade payables can be fake if there are no invoices. And indeed, Governor, this week, was it this week or last week, someone went to court and took the National Youth Service to court for non-payment of for services rendered. They argued that they had supplied metallic pipes for construction of beds at the NYS. That person lost the case. Why? Because the court challenged them to provide the original tender, the contract, the LSO. They went to court only with a delivery note and an invoice and a payment voucher. The Auditor General cannot certify these 176 in the absence of that entire chain of documentation. I believe we are communicating. that if you give us files here, for example, I've seen the first person, you have a payment voucher. Members, I hope you've seen that, being payment for construction of 30 ECD kitchens in Samburu County. In favor, you have a payment voucher in favor of Ndoto Star contractors. Then the next thing from Ndoto Star contractors is an invoice. Then that's the end. How can that be a legitimate bill? That matter was settled in the court just this week or last week. That it cannot be a legitimate bill when you only have a payment voucher and an invoice. You must have the entire, chain from tender all the way. So this, prima facie, does not address the concerns of the Auditor General. And my concern, Governor, is that you are treating your staff as sacred cows. They should have provided that information. You are not demanding it of them. You are giving them an opportunity to give excuses. They will sabotage you. At the end of the day, you are the one the police goes for, not your staff. So be firm. Do not have sacred cows. Ask these questions. We are asking these questions for your good as a governor of Samburu. But if you feel that they are wrong questions, then we shall leave you on your own and get sabotaged by your staff. Chair. Okay, proceed.
Chair, in support of what you're saying exactly, which I support 100%, when we come to this committee, when we are during the auditing season or sessions, we do something different because we go through these things. What documents were not provided at the time, we try to look at that they are provided now. But from our earlier conversation, this meeting is different. We are doing post-audit on implementation. And I think it helps a lot in support of what you said if we agree with these auditors. And I want to agree with these auditors. If, for example, at the time of the audit, these documents were not provided, the executive is saying they provided and the auditors said they didn't get it, they didn't receive. Would it help this meeting, because it's a meeting for implementation, if we allow the auditors to look at the vouchers provided now and even go back to Samburu, for example, and look at the work done by Ndoto Stars, for example, and confirm that Ndoto Stars, among the bills of 176 million, was actually paid as reported by the vouchers. So I want to support your idea 100%, but this is the only way we could do this so that we can be better next time. That we allow the auditors, I know it is post-audit, to come and confirm these things, confirm the vouchers, confirm the companies, confirm the physical, so that the vouchers we hold now that were not provided at the time, we can now sit with them as evidence that Samburu County did these works through these companies.
Audit must have closure. It cannot be on forever. Senator Ombua.
Chair, I will only say two things. Governor, I am still struggling with this Annex 1A. It's a loose leaf. So if it fell off the folder and somebody collected it out there, it could be anything. There's no ownership of it. There's nothing that shows it's a document from the county government of Samburu. It's just a piece of paper with some write-up. And the person who should be very annoyed with that, Governor, is not even us. It is you. No, I will tell you what you can do. I will tell you what you can do.
There is something called administrative action.
Exactly. Governor, administrative action, Chair, allow me to teach today just for 2 minutes. Administrative action is not necessarily firing people. It's also, as Governor, appreciating that maybe the capacity in your county is wanting and taking responsible officers through some training. That's administrative action. But to say that there is nothing you can do and now, as a leader in the House myself, when the basic intelligence of members is put to test, I feel bad and I must raise a finger and say, no, You cannot give this kind of document to us. So somebody, and you see at the end of the day what the chair is telling you, Governor. When the IG is sent to go and look for you, it is you they look for. They don't even know who the CEC finances or who the county secretary is. It is you. And when there is an allegation of misappropriation of funds in the county government of Samburu, it is you. It is your name, your face on record. Lastly, Chair, you know, Governor, you have said we can allow these people, they can allow the auditor to go back and do what they... You know, at the end of the day, what will happen is this. I don't think we envisage a situation where whatever documentation you provide at whatever time is useless. At the end of the day, the auditors will do things called, you know, prior year issues. You know, that will come there as a prior year issue. But this thing has been closed, Governor. And I believe that there was an exit meeting after the audit, which you must have sat in and realized that there were documents that were missing. And there was a time period within which you would have provided those documents. And I don't expect myself, Governor, that it is you who will go and pick vouchers and, you know, supporting documents and take to the OIG. No, I expect that there's somebody who is supposed to do that job. And that's the person that Chair is saying, let us find out who this person is, so that consequences then ensue. I thank you, Chair.
So maybe to allow us to make progress, Senator Cherargei, you had asked the 4 questions.
Yes,
Let's go through those 4 questions. So as to the 176, it is clear that even a cursory glance at the records before us is not satisfactory, just looking at Ndoto alone. We probably, as we make our recommendations, because we'll be doing very detailed recommendations, at that point, Auditor General, you'll advise us if whatever was tendered justified the 176. Then there was a question of the long outstanding debt of 28 million, which you submit, Governor, that so far you have paid, is it 30% of it? 35%. 35% of it, and you have provided Annexure 1B. Auditor General, have you looked at Annexure 1B, and are you able to give us an assurance?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We've gone through Annexure 1B, and we confirm that indeed the management has paid the 10.5 million.
So that leaves about some 65% of that very old